Welcome. Thank you for downloading this episode of Parks and Conversation. And my name is Jason, and I'm joined by my friend Jeremy. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going?
So good. So good. It's
Good.
Friday. It
It
is
is.
sunny outside as we're recording this.
Inside.
Well, we're inside and we're socially
Mhm.
distanced, but it is outside, sunny and beautiful. And so it reminds me of the days when we could go outside and be free,
You can still go outside.
but I can't be free.
Yeah, that's true.
So I started running recently because it's like I have to stop eating all this cake or I have to start exercising. And I said, you know what? I'm going to exercise because cake is delicious. And so,
You made the right choice.
yeah, but here's the problem. Everybody's out running. Everybody's out doing stuff. And what used to be like at 5 a.m, the only people out there were me and the people who are hiding from the law.
Mhm.
And now there's
Wait,
everybody out there.
There's a distinction.
I can't confirm or deny that.
Right.
But now there's everybody out there. And it made me think, man, you know what we need right now in this neighborhood? We need a park where people can just go and be, that is like big and open, and not have to run in the sidewalk and then onto the road. Because that's what I find myself doing, is running on the road to avoid people because I have to maintain 6 feet distance. Super annoying. Anyway,
Your city needs a Leslie Knope.
we'd need several nopes. An army of nopes.
Two Nopes make a right. A yup.
Yep. Yes, 2 nopes make a yup. So, how are you? What's going on in your world?
Same. I'm kind of on the same running program. I'm on 50% of the running program you are. I'm just eating the cake.
Oh, well, good.
So I'm halfway there.
You know, we're all doing our part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just want to know who keeps making these cakes.
Well, you know,
there's like 100% more cakes at my house right now because of this.
You know what we just got rid of recently, and I don't know why we ever had it. We bought for our daughter Jocelyn an easy bake oven years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago. And she cooked one thing and she realized this is gross. You shouldn't have to cook from the power of a light bulb.
Not so easy, is it?
No. And we just got rid of it. But now my daughter is like actually a really good baker.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, it was a good starter oven, I guess. Yeah, so.
And it teaches you how to change a light bulb.
Which is important.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I need to make a note. I need to get a new light bulb for our oven. Anyway, while it's not, I always think about that while it's hot. Oh, that we need a light bulb in there. But now, while no one's using it, I should figure out what kind of light bulb that is. So,
is it like every time the light bulb comes on, is that when you get the idea for it? Because that's pretty on point.
Well, no, because the light bulb is completely out. So I can't see what's going on in there. I just have to assume that cooking is happening. So, yeah. But, you know, that's not important. And enough jibber jabber. We need to get to what the people came here for.
Sandwiches.
Yes. The great sandwich conversation of the last time we recorded this. No. So last time we talked about sandwiches. This time we're talking about cake. Today, we need to talk about season 2, episode 3 of Parks and Recreation.
The beauty pageant.
The beauty pageant. Miss Pawnee, Indiana. And so let's just start at the beginning. How the cold open. I love that.
That's the best place to start.
Yes, generally. This cold open is a carryover from last week's episode. So the last time we talked in sequence was with the Ron had a hernia, and so he went and got hernia surgery. And so this cold open starts with Leslie coming in, telling everybody, hey, I need y'all to pitch in money for flowers. I got Ron flowers as he's in the hospital recovering from his surgery. And then she's like, you're going to need to give me about $90 because she bought flowers. She got a little drunk and bought flowers for everybody except Jerry, which
we'll see.
We'll see about you, Jerry. Which I love that. Like we're starting to see the bullying Jerry or neglect of Jerry in the series that's going to go all the way through. And this is really one of the first times where it's like something nice is happening. Jerry's not included. So, yeah, so that's the cold open. Anything else in the cold open that I'm missing right there, Jeremy?
No, no, that's perfect. I haven't bought flowers in a while. I know, my bad. But $90 seems excessive. Like, that's just for one order. That seems like a lot of flowers.
Well, it is a lot of flowers, but delivery for flowers is insane.
Mm.
I don't know why. Like, I'm able to go to the store and buy flowers for like $10 and bring them to my house and give them to my wife. $10. Somehow, by hiring a delivery person, those flowers now become worth $48 million. And I will never understand how that happens. So, sorry, everybody. My dog is barking. I live by a school, and she's just sad that the students aren't there. So, all right. But yeah, flowers are ridiculous. And so they're very expensive. All right. So then they come to the credits, and it starts off the show. The main plot for the show is that Leslie has been selected to be a judge for the Miss Pawnee beauty pageant. Mm-hmm. And she's very honored to be a part of this. And she's comes in and she starts talking about it. And Tom is immediately jealous because, like, I want to be in this. And so Tom starts his scheming to try to figure out how to be in the beauty pageant. And so he starts calling in favors. And April also signs up for the beauty pageant, which is surprising for April.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how she lets Leslie know that she's signing up. She brings her some coffee and she's like, "Hey, girlfriend, we got to stick together. And I hear there's money that, she wants to win the prize money." Yeah. And so she's like, "Can you like vote for me if I'm in this?" And she's got this big, huge coffee frappuccino thing and like a gift for Leslie. And Leslie says, "Oh no, I could never do that." And then she's like, the coffee's $8. Like, this gift is now something you need to pay me for. So
yeah, that didn't work.
That didn't work at all.
And I also like the fact that Leslie pulls out the spoon and just pours more sugar into this already sugary concoction.
Yes, which will be an ongoing theme for Leslie with her love of sugar, all things whipped cream, waffles, all that. Candy. Yeah. We saw her love of candy with candy necklaces in the second episode of the season. So yeah, so she loves the sugar.
She's powered by sugar and hope.
Yeah, that.
Those things.
Yeah. So, all right. So at the same time here, Leslie is in City Hall, and Officer Dave, comes a calling because he is very much interested in Leslie, and he says he came by to see the murals, which is one of the distinct features of Pawnee City Hall, is all of the very upsetting murals from Pawnee's history. And so they the one that they're looking at is this the one where the guy's punching the lady?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's fun. Did you ever?
It's such a funny joke because no one would go there to see the murals, but what I think is, I don't know if ironic is the term, it just makes me want to see them even more. Like, no one should want to see them, but if there was really a Pawnee City Hall, I would. They're so funny. They're so terrible that they're funny.
Yeah, they're really, really sad and funny, and heartbreaking and hilarious. It's a real roller coaster.
It is,
and they're made with such care that we'll get into the mural again in a couple episodes because they will they'll have to make some adjustments to the mural strategy in Pawnee. All right, so he wants to ask Leslie out on a date, and they go back into her office. And so he's talking. He's like, Dave says, "Hey, maybe we should get a cup of coffee sometime." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's great." And then she said, points at a picture and he says, "Oh, is this your grandmother?" And Leslie is offended because it's a picture of Madeleine Albright, and Dave does not know who Madeleine Albright is. Now, Jeremy, before this episode, did you know who Madeleine Albright was?
Absolutely.
Good for you, man. You know
Because I had
women's
seen this episode
history.
before.
Okay. So, so she's the first Secretary of State for the United States of America. And so Leslie is, as a feminist, so like, you should know these things because these things are important to me. And immediately her relationship starts cooling with Dave, and he's trying to guess all these other women who are in this shrine of women in leadership. And he's just like, she's like, no, this is not good. Dave is not cool.
Is that your grandma? No, that's Madeleine Albright. Oh, is that her name?
Is that her name? I call mine Nana.
It's a great joke.
All right. So Anne comes to see Leslie, and they're talking. And Leslie, this is where Leslie says, "I don't know if this will work with me and Dave. We don't share any of the same interests." And Anne also didn't really seem to know who Madeleine Albright was.
Right.
So it's like, no, Leslie, you're on your own here. You're out in left field. And so
I love that she asked Anne, could you date someone who didn't like giving vaccinations?
Yeah.
Like that's just what Leslie thinks Anne does all day. Just gives people injections.
Right. Which is an ongoing joke throughout the series. Is April thinks Anne is a janitor, basically. And Leslie only thinks Anne does like vaccinations and really gross nurse stuff.
Right.
So, which is fun. Anne then also asks Mark to come and fix her shower at her house. She starts by like, "Hey, can you fix things?" Maybe. So this is their second date. And so she says, "All right, come on over. I will make you dinner and you'll fix my shower." And he says, "This will be the weirdest second date ever." So that's kind of setting up the trajectory for this episode is Leslie, Miss Pawnee, and also dealing with Dave's stuff. And then Mark and Anne, Mark's fixing Anne's shower. Those are the main stories here for this episode. And so they go to the pageant, and this is where we meet Jessica Wiggs, who is going to be an ongoing character throughout this series. And her and Leslie will always be at odds with each other throughout the series. But she's a great character, former winner of Miss Pawnee in years and years ago. Also, Tom has managed to get onto the judgeship, the judge board, the judgery. Tom's a judge. So, and two other people who we have no idea who they are. Is that there's one more person. There's 5 people.
Well, there's a sandwich guy.
Right.
And then there was Ray Holstead and Charles Woolner.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the MC Martin Housley, who once again we've seen him once, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. He has his own PA system, but he'll need a ride during the ongoing DUI situation.
Yeah. Which is so if you look up this episode on IMDb and you find the trivia, like I tried to go to this website and it didn't work.
Yeah. No.
So I was kind of bummed. But yeah, NBC at one point bought a domain and URL for MissPawnee.com, which was basically bios of all the contestants, and the host needs a ride because of a pending legal action with regarding a DWI. So, which is funny. Oh, this guy, he comes back and hosts basically every event in Pawnee. So he'll be back. He was also at one point a contestant on Last Comic Standing, and that's where I first saw him years and years ago. I think the same season as Gary Goldman, who, if you're not following Gary Goldman, and you tipped me off to this last week. I've been following him, but I missed this. He rated all of his favorite consonants, the 21 top consonants.
Yeah.
So Gary Goldman.
Wait till he gets to punctuation.
Is he going to do punctuation?
I don't know, but he should.
I was kind of disappointed with his top selection.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to wait.
Oh,
you're just going to have to wait. So we meet some of the contestants, and there's three main contestants that we're dealing with in this episode that the show focuses on. We have April, who is her introduction. She says, "I like people, places, and things," because she knows that beauty pageants are dumb, but she just wants the money. So
once again, she's acting like how she thinks a beauty pageant contestant would act.
Right.
It's great. She's great.
And then there is Susan, who is Leslie's favorite. And she is not, a typical beauty pageant appearance, but she has actual talent. She is thoughtful. She's really the one that Leslie believes should epitomize the spirit of the women of Pawnee. And then there's Trish, who's introduced as the hot one. And her introduction says that I've been on YouTube. And so she's a crowd favorite. And Tom looks over like, well, I think we know who's going to win this. And then there's also this old lady who is a contestant. And her talent, she sings an old disco song. And it is really, really something. So
I think there's four contestants,
total,
not just three. No, I'm just saying, don't discount the old lady. I don't remember her name, but
well, who's discounting whom?
But you said there's only three contestants we're following, but I think she's the dark horse. I was rooting for her.
Well, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see that you are that way. So they cut to the talent competition, and Tom takes out Leslie's scorecard, which is overly complicated, and things like she has the Naomi Wolf factor and je ne sais quoi, and so nobody is going to follow this whole grading system that Leslie has created. And so Trish's talent is baton, and she just comes out and holds the baton and dances around in a seductive manner. And all the judges are like, yeah, this is it.
You sounded like Dave right there.
Dave?
And then she started moving in what could be described as a seductive manner.
Yes, that is very Officer Dave. April comes out and she does impressions that are not good at all. It's really just her saying things in her own voice. So it's like her sister, my name's Natalie, and I need to take a lot of Ritalin. Yeah, and I hate everything. And the guy next to Leslie laughs real hard at that. Just this old man. Yeah, he just laughs really hard at that, and April. I love April's reaction. Is like, okay. So one of the interesting things about April Aubrey Plaza is around the same time she was in a movie called Funny People, which is about
Sandler, right?
Adam Sandler movie about comedy and comedians, stand up in particular. And so Aubrey was one of these comedians, and she had never done stand up before. So she actually did stand up and open mics as a way to prepare for that movie. And so even here, like you can see like her, like this is actually what her stand up persona would have been like anyway. And so I just thought that was a fun little connection. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So for the listener, and yeah, it's a good movie. Funny People, Adam Sandler. And then April also does an impression of Leslie and how like she's, super feminist and girl power and very much annoying. And Tom loves it and laughs real hard. And Leslie. There's so many names. Leslie is kind of shocked at how hard Tom is laughing at that. So, all right. And then Susan comes out and has actual talent playing the piano, and she's doing really great, and nobody cares except Leslie. And Tom is actually texting Trish, like, I told her that she's doing a great job while somebody else is doing their talent. So, yeah, it's not going well for Leslie and the Susans of the world. So
it's not.
All right. So cut to the other story here. We have Mark and Anne are at Anne's house, and she's getting started, and Anne takes the garbage out, and she sees Andy hiding in the pit, and then he ducks down real quick and tries to go and hide in his tent. And I love how he's hiding is just in the tent. And Anne says, I can see you through the net. And the way he looks is the same way my dog looks when I know that they've done something wrong and they know they've done something wrong, but they're just trying to not communicate. Like, I'm not here. You can't, I'm not looking at you. I don't exist.
If I can't see you, you can't see me.
Exactly. So I love that. And Andy has
I love how Andy just pops up out of the pit like a gopher,
right?
And then pops back down real quick because there's just we don't see the pit at all. It's just this ground level shot and just Andy's head right above the ground. It's perfect.
Yeah. So, and so Anne confronts him, and Andy has two really great lines. First is, I've been trying really hard not to bother you. Like, I'm stalking you from the pit. I've been trying really hard not to bother you. Like the other day you had a barbecue and it smelled so good, but I didn't come over. And then she's also confronts him about his lies and the job he claimed he has and all this stuff. And then he says, are we going to talk about anything other than all the lies I've told you?
I suppose this is the office job you've been telling me about. Hands over, there's just like a derelict desk in the pit.
Yeah. And he's like, what? He didn't even remember his lie that he told. So, yeah, I love that. It's so good. I mean, and so he's basically like, don't come over, don't come in, stay away. And then it cuts back to the beauty pageant, which is the Q&A section of the beauty pageant. And Leslie asks a question to Trish about Alexis de Tocqueville and his theory on the great experiment of America. And
yeah, that old icebreaker.
Yeah, and Trish gives a completely rambling response that basically ends up like as an anti-immigration policy, and says, "I wouldn't call it their America; I'd call it our America." And which made me think, who calls it their America? So, but do you remember? The beauty pageant where the woman was asked about like peace in the world, and she said like such as, whereas, and gave this ongoing rambling response. And so that's what this response is modeled after. It's Kate Upton, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Kate Upton. So
Kate with a C.
Right. Caite. Kate. I mean, we need to put some real guidelines on names. So anyway.
Oh, talk to Elon.
Oh, I saw that. I don't even know how to pronounce what he did to his kid. So
for those of you who don't know, Elon Musk is the Tesla CEO, and he just had a kid, and they named him after like symbols. So the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's named after a fighter jet.
Part of it. Yep, that was part of it.
So
yeah.
Whatevs. Rich people.
So yeah.
Am I right?
I don't know, because I'm not. I don't know also, what they do.
I get it. I get it. So yeah, so she gives the super long rambling answer, anti-immigration statement, and Leslie is completely confounded by all of this. And my notes don't say here if there is any other questions at this point, or does it cut back to Anne's house?
I think it cuts back to Anne's house.
All right. Okay, so it's raining, and Mark has fixed the shower, and now they're eating the meal that Anne prepared, and it is pouring down rain. And Anne is super mad at Andy, and Mark is like, I think we should let him in because it's pouring out rain, and he lives in a pit. And so, yeah. So that's happening. So there's that tension going on. And then they get to announcing like the finalists and the prizes and stuff. And the prize is gift certificates for a fence. Not the whole fence, but it'll get you started. And so at that point, April just quits. And she's out because she's like, I don't need a gift certificate to a fence. And do you remember what she says here as she's leaving? It's so good.
Yeah. She goes, I didn't win, but at least I didn't make any new friendships.
Right. So, so good. I love April.
I love when she leaves. She doesn't go stage right or stage left. She goes right down the middle. Like she just right through the whole entire crowd.
Yeah. I'm out.
Very April. Zero cares.
This is over. So, yeah. So she's great. She's one of the best characters in all of television ever.
Agreed.
And so they go into to deliberate and decide who's going to be the Miss Pawnee, and everybody is like, yep, it's going with the hot one. It's Trish, right? She's the front runner. She's going to get this. But Leslie is adamant that they actually like do the deliberation, and she wants Susan. She wants Susan to win. And Tom's response, her nickname for Susan is Susan Boring Stories.
Yeah.
And so Leslie sequesters everybody and traps them inside. And they're actually going to do the deliberation and do this right in Leslie's eyes. So one of the interesting segues here is while Leslie is trapping everybody inside, Anne invites Andy inside and tells him to sit on the couch, don't talk, don't say anything, like just be in here. And then Andy realizes that Mark is the guy that came over, and he's upset, and it's very funny.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. Yeah, it was very funny.
All right. Let me see. So then it comes back to the beauty pageant, and they're announcing the winners, and the host Martin says, "We have a winner. It's the hot one." Even at that point, he's not even using her name. It's the hot one. So, yeah. So this whole beauty pageant situation is rigged from the get-go, is what I've learned. So
yeah. I think that is pretty much all beauty pageants and dog shows and anything with a ribbon. It's all rigged. So don't try, is what I learned.
Don't try to get a ribbon.
Or be judged by anybody.
I'd like you to unpack that. Don't try to get a ribbon or be judged by anybody.
Well, yeah, because it's I mean, there's always a hot one. There's always, it's biased from the get-go. Oh, that's the winner. So what's the point?
Man.
You know, that's why we make participation ribbons. That was the yellow one. You know, there's like red, white, and blue. Like blue is first place, red is second, white was third, and then everybody else got like the yellow ribbon. Because it's like we all know who's going to get the first place ribbon.
Okay.
No?
I get it. Yeah. No, that's good. I think you've helped some people today.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. I feel better.
Good. Good. So Trish wins, and it cuts back to Anne and Mark and Andy, and Mark is like, this meal is really good. Do you put hot sauce in here? And Anne's like, I don't have it. I don't tell my secrets. And Andy on the couch is like, yeah, it's hot sauce. It's hot sauce. He's just totally intruding on their date and trying to win her over again. But he's driving Anne crazy, and she eventually kicks him out. And she's like, I think it's time for you to leave. And so Andy gets up. He's like, Mark, let's go. It's like, no, just you get out. And I love how he's leaving and he's trying to play it cool. and he's not looking back. And then when it cuts to him in the tent while it's raining, he's like, that went so well. He just lives in delusion. And so, yeah. So
and in a pit.
Yes, a pit of delusion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's kind of wraps up that section. Is there anything else from their plot line that needs to be mentioned?
No, he just thought it went really, really well, and he's like that much closer to getting back together with Anne.
Right. Yeah. So he's clearly got a plan or something. So it cuts back, and Leslie she hijacks the after party, and is basically saying like, look, there's always going to be Trish's who win all this stuff, and Susan, while you're not conventionally hot, you're still like my winner. And so Trish may not have been the one I voted for, but she's Miss Pawnee for all of us. So like that super political correctness of like, well, I didn't vote for him, but he's my president. She's trying to take the high road, but even in doing so, she's still like undercutting what happened. But then it cuts to Trish and Jessica, and they're doing shots at the end of this as a part of their celebration. And so, yeah, it is just a heartbreaking moment for Leslie to see, like, you know what, the Trishes are always going to win. And
well, that's what I've been saying. Like, I remember my third grade, wooden derby,
Pinewood Derby.
Yeah. And well, I don't know it anymore because I quit after that because everyone knew that, Scott was going to win because his dad was a mechanic. And so afterwards, when they were all doing shots in the corner with the other Boy Scouts, I was like, well, why do we try? It's just right. It's like,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I wasn't allowed to play with knives. I couldn't even. Mine was just literally like a rectangle of wood with wheels because I couldn't even carve mine. So I don't.
I'm sorry that you endured all that.
Enjoy, Trish. Enjoy the Trishes of the world. You earned it. You earned it.
Wow. Let me know when you're okay.
I'm getting there.
All right. Okay. Now here's where this is where the story turns for Dave and Leslie, because Dave comes.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Leslie's there, and so he's like, "Look, I like you, and if you don't like me, that's one thing. But I'm putting it all out there. I like you. I thought we had something, and then you cooled off on me. And so, if you ever want to get together, call me. You know how to get a hold of me." And so he turns around to leave, and he bumps into Trish, and he's like, "Watch it, buddy." He doesn't care that she's the hot one. She's like, she's just in my way, and he's not at all noticing the attractiveness of Trish. And that's when Leslie, you can see in her eyes, like, this guy's different. He's not like all the other people in this room. Mm-hmm. Dave is different. And so she calls him up, and she comes the next day. He comes to her office and like, yeah, let's go get coffee. Let's do this. And then he starts pointing at all the women on her little shrine of women in leadership. Is like, well, Nancy Pelosi and Condoleezza Rice, and like just listing all these people who were there. Will they all be there? And Leslie says no. It's like, oh, good, because I don't agree with Nancy Pelosi on some trade legislation. So he clearly has done the research to try to be a part of Leslie's life, to show interest in her interests. And
Leslie's so great about that too, because he even tells her, I did my research. Like, he doesn't even play it off as being cool. Like, no, I totally looked it up.
Yeah. So,
what's sweet about that, because then it shows Leslie that he is actually trying. So,
right. Yeah. So, Officer Dave, good guy. He's a good guy. So I like Officer Dave.
Yeah.
And that's basically the end of this episode. But there's a cold open. Is this a cold close then? Where it's over the credits. Tom is sharing one of his secrets to picking up women, and he does this it shows him at the beauty pageant, giving all these contestants a house key. It says, come on over anytime. This is part of his strategy. And he says, no one has ever showed up, but I've been robbed twice.
Yeah.
So Tom is just so messed up in so many ways.
He tries too hard at the wrong things.
Right. And he's
yeah.
married.
And he's married.
And
That's weird.
What's that all about? Tom. So that's episode 3 of season 2, the beauty pageant, Miss Pawnee. That was the whole show. So what did you think? How do you feel at the end of this episode as you watched it and discussed it? What are your thoughts on this particular episode of Parks and Recreation?
I mean, it brought up a lot of bad things from my past. Just talking about it with you. So I was going to ask you I thought it was fun. I thought it showed us more about the mentality of Pawnee and how I think the writers of the actual show, it's kind of a reflection on a lot of America and the way we look at things. But so in that regard, I thought it was good satire.
Yeah.
But what did you think? And I also wanted to know, what was your favorite joke out of the episode?
Well, I enjoyed this episode. I think it was funny the way that they played on beauty pageant stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular the such as and all of that, like Trish's responses, I thought those were very like apt. And so I enjoyed that. I thought I also enjoyed the transformation, the turn in the relationship between Anne and Dave, or not Anne and Dave, Leslie and Dave. And so that development of their relationship, I think is good. And so it's helping her get away from Mark and her fixation on Mark, because Mark's the worst, and helping her to like move on. So I like that. The funniest joke, man, I'm gonna have to scroll through my notes here. I honestly think the thing that makes me laugh the most every time I watch this episode is when Andy says, "Aren't we going to talk about anything other than all the lies I've told you?" I love that.
That's good.
Because he doesn't even try to say like, I don't lie. He's like, no, I lied to you. Like, this is who I am. So I love that. What's your favorite joke?
That's very topical for this time in our lives. My favorite one was when April finds out that there is no cash, and she quits. And so when he announces that it's $600 in coupons for Big Archie Sporting Goods and the fence company, I just cracked up, because why would any beauty pageant contestant want any part of a fence? I own a house and I barely even want a fence. Like that's just the worst prize ever. And it's not even a whole fence. It's
it'll get you started.
It'll defray the cost considerably. Right. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I do think in the beauty pageant system, like you win for city to get to county, and then to county to state, and then state to America. Like, so I think the people who are serious about the beauty pageant are not trying to get the prize money. They're trying to get into the system to keep climbing up the beauty pageant ladder. And so the prize money is just an auxiliary thing. It's really just like marketing budget for those companies. So, but I've overthought it.
I did not know that you knew so much about the inner workings of beauty pageants.
Well, I just know that there's a ladder that like you don't start, like you can't just apply for Miss America. Like that doesn't work. You got to start somewhere. So you start in Pawnee.
So you're saying like you got to pull yourself up by your beauty bootstraps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a really difficult thing because, people will move their kids into other towns. They'll like do scouting and see like, where are all the ugly people? I want to bring my pretty kid to be in the town of ugly people so that they can win, so that they can continue to climb up the ladder. Whereas in like sports, people move to go like, I want to be on a good team.
Mm-hmm. Where are all the slow people?
Well, no, like if you want to be on a good team, it's not all the slow people, unless you're like want to win track, right? Like I want to go to the worst possible. I'm the fastest kid in my county. I want to go to the worst high school so that I beat all these kids. But in a beauty pageant, you want to go to say like, all right, I want my kid who's really pretty to be a champion of pageantry. So I'm going to we're going to move to this small town like Pawnee, where this kid will stand out and we'll get into the beauty pageant system. I thought it through.
Yeah. Well, I know that beauty pageant redistricting is a big problem that they've had, you know, and I think like once again that's just the Trishas of the world get in, so they're just fast tracked right through the system.
Right. The technical term is pageant mandering.
Pageant mandering.
Yeah, like gerrymandering, but pageant mandering. So
or gerrymandering then, if it's Pawnee.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right. So, so that happened. All that stuff we just said, those were words that came out of our mouths.
It'd be amazing if you could just apply to win to something. Like there was like in the Olympics, like there's you have a physical, like there's a race, right? But then you have somebody who just applied to win, and if their name gets drawn, then they also get a medal. Like they don't have to do anything; they just applied.
That could be a good way to re-drum up some interest in the Olympics in 2021. To say, hey, look, I know this was super inconvenient, this whole Corona situation, but we're going to make it a little interesting this year as everybody's going to compete and they're going to do the best they can. But then there's also the name out of the hat competition. And if you are pulled out of the hat, you could maybe not even win, but to say like, you will definitely be in the last heat of this competition. They save a lane. I would totally watch that. They save a lane for like Chuck from Illinois to like, hey man, you won. And so everybody else is working real hard at this 100-meter dash. Chuck, you're in lane 9. and we're going to watch you go as fast as you can against people like Usain Bolt. Oh man, I would totally watch that. That would be awesome.
And no matter what, he would get a yellow ribbon at the end.
Yeah, it's goldish.
Yeah.
It's a goldish medal. I think Olympics, IOC, call us, reach out. We've got ideas. We're here for you.
I'm for it.
All right. Okay, we should go before we give all our good ideas away.
Okay, save some for next week.
I'll try.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you later, man.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.